There's this weird thing that happens when you first see a caracal and a lynx side by side. You blink, look again, and your brain just goes, wait, aren't those the same animal? They've both got those long black ear tufts, serious faces, and that wildcat energy. If you've ever scrolled past a photo of one and thought it was the other, don't worry, you're not alone. It happens all the time. But here's the thing. Even though they look like long-lost twins, they're not even that closely related. And once you really start comparing them, the differences are actually kind of wild. So, if you've ever wondered what sets these two cats apart, or why they look so much alike in the first place, you're in the right place. We'll start with the body shape, since that sets the tone for everything else. When you take a proper look at a caracal, the first thing that hits you is how clean and athletic it looks. Its body is long and narrow, and lean muscles running along every limb. It looks like it's always mid-hunt, sharp, controlled, and coiled like a spring. The legs are long and straight, giving it a tall posture for its size, and its entire frame feels designed for sudden explosive motion. The coat is short and smooth, almost glossy in the right light. Most caracals have a solid reddish tan color, like desert sand just before sunset. No stripes, no spots, just clean, uninterrupted camouflage. The belly and the area under the chin are usually lighter, sometimes almost white, but the overall pattern is minimal and neat. Now the face. It's narrow, with high cheekbones and a tight, pointed muzzle. The eyes are large and piercing, often outlined with white or black markings that make the stare even more intense. It has this focused, alert expression, like it's constantly locked onto something, even when it's standing still. And then, of course, the ears. Tall, thin, and jet black at the tips, with perfectly shaped tufts that shoot straight up like miniature flags. They're longer and neater than most other wildcats, and they're unmistakable. Even the back of the ears is bold, usually black with a white spot in the center, which might help signal to cubs or confuse prey. Its tail is short, but not bobbed. It's about a third the length of the body, thick at the base and tapers off into a rounded tip. Just long enough to help with balance when it leaps, but never in the way. Finally, the paws are tight and compact, not oversized, not fluffy, just well padded and dry terrain ready. These are the feet of a cat that runs, jumps, and strikes, not one that tiptoes across snow. Every part of the caracal feels refined and efficient, like it was engineered for the savannah. Now compare that to the lynx, and everything shifts. The lynx looks heavier at first glance, not just because it's often a bit larger, but because of the thick fur covering its entire body. It's a cold weather animal, and it wears it. The body is more robust, with powerful shoulders and shorter proportions that make it feel lower to the ground, even though its legs are still long. Its coat is a whole different story. Instead of a single clean color, lynx fur is dense, layered, and often slightly mottled. The colors vary: gray, pale brown, beige, and there are usually faint spots or subtle patterns, especially in winter when the fur grows out thickest. It's not about looking sharp, it's about blending in with snow, bark, and rock. The head is rounder, with much softer lines. What stands out the most is the beard-like ruff of fur around its cheeks, which give the lynx its iconic frosted look. It softens the whole face and makes the eyes look more sunken, less intense, but no less aware. The ears still have those black tufts, but they're set on shorter, rounder ears, and the tufts themselves tend to look a bit wilder, not as clean-cut as the caracals. Sometimes they point straight up, sometimes they lean out to the sides, depending on wind and mood. It looks less stylized, more rugged, like a snow hunter. Then there's the tail, which is one of the easiest giveaways. The lynx has a very short, thick bobtail with a solid black tip. It looks chopped off. It's not built for balance, it's just a stub, and it's one of the most recognizable features on the animal. And the paws? Massive. They're wide, heavily furred, and built like natural snowshoes. Each paw spreads out the lynx's weight to keep it from sinking into deep snow. The fur also helps insulate the pads from ice. In terms of specialization, This is one of the most extreme cold climate adaptations of any wildcat on Earth. Once you understand how different they look up close, it makes even more sense when you look at where they actually live. The caracal is right at home in the heat. It's spread across most of Africa, stretching into the Middle East and parts of Central and South Asia. You'll find it in open, dry landscapes, savannas, scrublands, deserts, and rocky hills. It doesn't need dense cover or tall trees, just enough grass or scattered bushes to hide in and enough space to leap at anything that moves. It's built for rough terrain and fast prey, the kind of environment where every ounce of agility and explosive power counts. The lynx, on the other hand, sticks to colder, forested regions. Depending on the species, it ranges across Europe, Asia, and North America. The Eurasian lynx prefers mountainous forests and boreal zones, while the Canada lynx is almost entirely locked into snowy wilderness. These cats rely on dense trees, underbrush, and deep snow for both cover and stealth. Instead of chasing prey in open space, they move carefully through thick vegetation or across frozen ground, staying quiet and hidden until it's time to strike. The way these two cats hunt is shaped entirely by where they live, and it shows. The caracal is fast, explosive, and precise. It's not built for long-distance chases. It's an ambusher. It gets low, stays hidden, and waits for the right moment to strike. A lot of its hunting happens in open or semi-open terrain, so the pressure's on to get it right the first time. If the prey spots it and runs, the caracal usually won't waste energy chasing. It relies on surprise, not endurance. One of the most impressive things about the caracal is its vertical leap. It can launch itself straight up to 3 meters to catch birds in midair. Not many cats can even attempt that. In fact, in some areas, birds make up a huge part of its diet. But it's also flexible. It'll take rodents, hares, lizards, and even small antelope if it gets the chance. It's not picky, just efficient. During the day, caracals rest in shaded spots, under bushes, inside rocky crevices, or anywhere they can cool down and stay hidden. They're mostly active at night or during dawn and dusk when the heat drops and prey is more active. They're also incredibly territorial. A single caracal can control a large area, especially males, who tend to have bigger ranges that may overlap with multiple females. They avoid confrontation, and when they do cross paths, things can get tense fast. The lynx, by contrast, plays the long game. It's slow, careful, and deliberate. Instead of ambushing in the open, it stalks, moving silently through the forest or across snow-covered ground, using trees, rocks, and terrain as cover. It might follow the same prey for a long time, waiting for the perfect angle. No wasted movements, no flashy leaps, just quiet calculation. Its primary target depends on the species and region. But for the Eurasian lynx, small to medium deer are a big part of the menu, especially roe deer. It will also take hares, birds, or anything else it can catch, but it tends to go for meatier prey that can keep it fed longer. The Canada lynx is more specialized, with snowshoe hares making up the bulk of its diet. That cat-hare relationship is so tight that when hare populations crash, so does the lynx population. Lynxes are also solitary, but even more elusive than caracals. They rarely vocalize, rarely leave tracks unless the snow is just right, and they avoid anything that smells even slightly like human presence. They're masters of disappearing into the landscape, and most people who live in lynx territory have never seen one in the wild, even if one passed right in front of them. For two cats that look so similar on the outside, same ear tufts, same body shape, same intense stare, the caracal and the lynx aren't actually close relatives, not even in the same genus. The caracal belongs to a group that includes the serval and the African golden cat, both sleek, long-legged hunters built for open environments. They're part of the caracal lineage, which split off pretty early in the wildcat family tree. This group evolved mainly in Africa, with adaptations for dry climates, agile movement, and highly flexible hunting styles. The lynx, meanwhile, is part of the lynx genus, which includes 4 species: the Eurasian lynx, Canada lynx, Iberian lynx, and bobcat. This group is more northern in origin. They evolved to handle snow, cold forests, and seasonal prey patterns. Their adaptations focus more on camouflage, insulation, and quiet stalking in closed habitats. So how did they end up looking so alike? That's a classic case of convergent evolution, when two unrelated animals evolve similar traits because they face similar survival challenges. In this case, those long black ear tufts. They probably help with communication or breaking up the shape of the head in tall grass or shadows. Both cats hunt by stealth, both rely on sharp hearing, and both need to blend into their surroundings. So nature gave them similar tools, even though they arrived there by totally different paths. They're like two different solutions to similar problems, one from the forests, one from the heat. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment with what you would like to see in the following videos. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.